Alright, today I'm going to pull the carburetor off of this little CL100, go through it, because it seems to be running rich at the low end, especially just off idle. You start to crack that throttle and it dogs and sometimes dies. When you're not even moving, you just crack the throttle and it dies. Once it's really warmed up and idling, it puffing little bits of black smoke out the back at idle. Seems to do okay on the top end, but at idle it's got issues. I noticed when I had the top off and had the slide out while I was messing with the throttle cable up here the other day. I had this assembly off, and while I was at it, I had the throttle cable out, and this slide has a ding in the bottom of it. Somebody has put a ding in the bottom of it before, so I want to clean that up, make sure the slide is moving freely and isn't restricting airflow from the ding or anything like that, and get it in the ultrasonic cleaner, make sure all the passages are properly cleaned out, double check the float height by actually measuring it and seeing if we can get that right. Check the gasket up here, all that good stuff. So time to take the seat off, take the tank off. I already took the, I don't have that clamped on anyway, the little snorkel. Take the carb off and go from there. Okay, carburetor is off. I wanted to show you what I was talking about on the slide. See if I can get it into frame here. Get into focus. Might be the harder problem. Right there, there's that nick. And that corresponds with, in the throat of the carburetor, come on camera, it's hard to see in this camera, but there's some scratches corresponding with that, some gouges in the actual throat of the carburetor. Kind of what I'm guessing is that the previous owner, well, the guy who did the work for the previous owner, because he didn't do his own work, the slide was probably stuck. It had been sitting for years, so the slide was probably stuck, and he went in there with something to pry it loose and gouged the crap out of it. Always the wrong move, but we'll work with it. It's not too bad in the actual carburetor. I think that won't take much cleaning up. I can't really see it. There you can kind of see it. But the slide itself, I'll need to do a little work on. Alright, now to pull this carburetor apart. Alright. This out. Those sound like they got quite a bit of fluid in them. Alright. Gasket out. Main jet, emulsifier tube. Small screwdriver. Pilot jet. Get that float on there. It's gonna be 10, right? Okay, I think that's the bulk of the stuff that I can remove. Seals will stay out so they don't get damaged or swell. The rest of this will go in the ultrasonic cleaner. Warmed up. See, when I put this float in there, you can hear that one side sounds like it's got fluid in it, and sure enough, when you put it in here, the one side is quite a bit heavier and sinks, so I'm going to have to address that. Could be a big part of my running rich problem. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the camera. Get it to focus in on what I'm looking at. Alright, well, right here is where it's leaking. There's a crack in the solder, and I can get some of the, I can see it leak out when I squeeze on it. So I'm going to drill, kind of like I did on the generator carb. I'm going to drill a small little hole, get the rest of the fluid out, and then I'll, once it's all dried out here in a day or so there's no fumes or anything left in there to explode, I'll solder it back up. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. You probably are hearing all kinds of strange noises because I have you too close to the ultrasonic cleaner here. That's how much gasoline was getting trapped in this thing. Just keeps coming. Probably half full of gas. Unfortunately, I did dent the side end just a little bit squeezing on it earlier, but oh well. Okay, that appears to be it. Well, I've never been known for my patience, so what I did, I went ahead and blew the float as dry as I could with my air compressor, soldered it up, and now I've got it floating in here. I'm trying to see if it's going to leak. I got it weighed down enough so that the floats are down under. The part that was leaking is down under the water. We're going to see if it leaks. And if she doesn't seem to leak, I'll get it put back together and back on the bike. But for now, while that does its thing, I think I'm going to go for a ride. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, real quick, one thing. I got the carb back on. It's all cleaned out. The float's soldered and appears to not be leaking. Sorry for the shaky cam here. One thing I discovered taking it apart and looking at the diagram is I had a spring on the mixture screw, but there was no spring on the idle speed screw, which is why it kept backing out on me and dropping the idle when I would ride it. So I just stole a spring out of a pen and using that as my spring to help hold that in position. Alright. I have to confess, actually I'm filming this after I fired it up with that spring in there the first time. Fired it up and warmed it up just a little bit just a minute ago, but well, I gotta let it warm up, do the mixture and idle speed adjustments with it running, and should be good to go.